the head of Channel Sales Southeast Asia of Google. Give a very warm welcome to Matthew Heller. Come on.
Great. Thank you. Can we play the video? Thought we'd start off with a quick video. Great, thanks. I like that video. I'm going to talk a little more about it later. It was like Timothy said, everything is happening right now. So you guys are in the right place today. Anyways, let me start off with a quick introduction. My name is Matt Heller. I'm the head of channel sales for Google in Southeast Asia. I look out for our premier SMB partners across 42 countries, each country with its own currency, many different languages. And I'm really excited and glad to be here in KL and in Malaysia today. So thank you very much for having me. I'd like to start by thanking our good friends at PanPages. We've been doing this for a couple of years now, and I've been working personally with PanPages for the last 4. And I don't know anyone in Malaysia who's more committed to success for businesses of all sizes, but particularly appreciate their commitment to kind of medium and small businesses. And I think, Fong, you were saying earlier, the unsung heroes. If you look at where jobs come from, if you look at where economic growth comes from in Malaysia, it comes from medium and small businesses. So I know I'm in the right place today, spending time with you, and I really appreciate your time. Okay, so Google's mission is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible. We do a lot of things, but it all comes back to that mission at the end of the day. So I live in Singapore with my family, and Google's Asia Pacific headquarters are really close by, which is nice about being in Singapore. And there's people here in KL and all throughout the region that are working on things like Android and YouTube and Google Search and Chrome and Gmail and Maps. And the list goes on, and I hope many of you are familiar and use at least some of our products. But today I'm going to talk about Google AdWords. And the reason I want to talk about AdWords is this is by far the product that can have the biggest impact on your business. So I think it's the best use of your time to talk about AdWords. And before I get into this, our friends at PanPages asked me to come and talk a little bit about what we're seeing at Google. What are the trends we're seeing, and how can it help businesses in Malaysia grow? But I want to make sure everyone kind of gets the basics around AdWords. So AdWords, I don't know how familiar you are with Google, but all the neat things we do, the self-driving cars and all the YouTube videos, 90+% of our revenue comes from advertising. And what it's really about is connecting businesses with new customers. So that's really at the core of how Google pays for everything it does. We have millions of advertisers, but 99% of them are small and medium businesses, and AdWords is the main driver of it. So just to explain really simply what AdWords is, so most of us know Google as something we search and we can go to for information. And each time people search, and whether it's on their phone or a desktop computer, when we return the search results, one of the things we're able to do is kind of around the top and around the side, we're able to use that space to allow businesses to present their products and services at the exact moment that customers are looking for something that's relevant or similar. And that's really been, I think, why SMEs like AdWords so much. They see a couple things in it. One, they can present their products and services at the exact moment that someone is looking for similar products and services. So that's the relevancy. And two, they're able to, they only have to pay when someone clicks at their ad. So they know that their marketing budget is being well used. Again, people only pay when someone clicks on the ad. And then last, you can start very small and you can grow, but basically you can get the exact number of new customers you need. So these are really the reasons why kind of millions of small businesses around the world use Google AdWords. And I'm going to talk a little more today about how you can use it to grow your business. But first I want to talk a little bit about why I'm going to talk about AdWords and why this is relevant today. And I think if we were having this discussion, 5, 10 years ago, this would be a real luxury, right? We could really say, hey, businesses that have, gone digital or using AdWords, these are the early adopters, and they're getting in early, and they've seen an opportunity to get ahead of their competitors. But today, I think I'm going to show you some information that will hopefully get you thinking that this is really the right time, that this is now. And I think where it really starts is understanding your customers, right? And at Google, we always say, look, if you pay attention to the users, follow the users, everything else works. So I think the more you understand about your customers, and if you look at what they're doing, then I think it will become pretty obvious why and how you can take advantage of digital to grow your business. So let's talk a little bit about our world. Let's see if this works. There we go. This is not exactly the living room I grew up in, but pretty close. I don't know if this looks familiar to any of you in terms of kind of the living rooms we're familiar with. You'll notice there's one screen there in the corner. This is pretty close to what my living room looks like today. Throw in a couple kids, each on their own screens. But I don't know how many you can count there. There's the laptop, the TV, the phone, the iPod. Like, we look around, right? You look at the screens are everywhere. And you think about kind of trying to get people's attention in this environment. But, it's not just our homes. I think you look and I never quite worked in this office, but I definitely, work in this office today. So I think we can see how our workplaces are changing. And a lot of this gets me thinking that things we've done in the past and what worked well in the past, might not be so relevant today. And that's really at the essence of change. And change is hard, but if you look, I saw this. We check our phones 150 times per day. That sounds ridiculous to me, right? That's not possible. I don't do anything 150 times a day. But watch yourselves. Think about just, like, while I'm talking, you're thinking about checking your phone, right? It's mad. And it's changing the way that mobile is changing the way we connect, research, buy. It's changing everything about our lives. I think it's happening so fast and so kind of subtly. I don't think we realize how much the phones are changing our behavior, but we see it at Google in the data. People really don't do very much anymore without first checking our phones. And that's a huge opportunity for businesses kind of around the world, and particularly here in Malaysia. And that's what we're going to talk about. But what I specifically want to talk about today is, it's changing the way people buy. And I think that's what's most relevant. And so if you think about the way we used to do our buying, so like I worked for a map company for a lot of years, and I had my own business. We started this map company, and we would go to a trade show twice a year and do most of our sales for the year. it was a big deal to get ready for it. And we really kind of knew what was, how the year was going to be after the trade show in January. I haven't been to a trade show, in the last couple of years. Directories are a great product. They're incredibly convenient when you've got one and you know what you're looking for. I still use them. I'm going to date myself a little bit. But when my kids want a pizza, boom, they got the phone out. Relationships, who you know. I had a Rolodex. I still think it's tremendously important, kind of the network that you have. I think there's other ways of kind of keeping track, but it's still fun to see these. I don't think my kids would know what they are, and relationships still really matter. People, they want to know and trust the people they're working with. So I don't see a lot of changes here, but for those of you who like Mad Men, I enjoy watching. But I think what you're dealing with now is these relationships don't matter, and trust still matters, but it's sort of a trust but verify world. So people trust you, right? But they're checking your prices, they're checking your competitors. And so you want to be thinking about all of that, and you can't just rely on the relationships and trust. It's just we live in a much more informed world. And then at the end of the day, I think no matter what else they're talking about, they are going to search. And they're going to learn about your business, they're going to learn about your competitors, and this is what we see on the purchase journey when people are thinking about buying something. Everything at some point goes through search. And so I do think it's fair to say that the internet is the new trade show, and that's why I'm not going to trade shows, is because when I want to look at something, I can go right away, and I can go to Alibaba, I can go to Google, and right away see all of my options kind of for who I should be working with, and that's really different. And it's not just consumer products. I was talking about my kids getting a pizza, but I think what surprises a lot of people we work with is how much the business purchase journey has changed. When people are going to buy supplies for their business or inputs, they search. And I just saw this. Searches for farm tractors grew by 21% just this past quarter. Searches for doors and windows grew by 34%. So what that means, 34% more people looking to buy doors and windows, right? In every category you look at looks this way, as more and more people are searching. And remember, each time somebody searches, remember the page I showed you? It's an opportunity for you to show your business, for your competitors to show their business. So that's why this number matters. And so you can hear searches for freighting grew by almost 40%. And I mean, the main message, what you see here, and I mean, if you get on, the train here in KL, or you look around the room, everyone they have access to the internet. They're searching before they buy anything. They search, and I'm going to show you some more data about kind of how we see this in people's lives changing. But the real message is, the real trend we see that I want to share is, I can't kind of overestimate how often people are able to get the information they need before they make a purchase decision. And I think one of the drivers of this is devices, right? This is a really interesting slide. If you look at radio, like we all have a radio in our home, right? And actually I'm starting to not as I get my radio over the internet, but I think most of us still have a radio in our home. But it took, there's showing 35 to 40 years for that to happen. Even TV, like we all have TVs in their homes. I'm always surprised. Everybody manages to come up with the money for TV, right? Because we all love TV. But if you look, it took, 10 to 15 years for TVs to proliferate so that we all had them in our home. But what's crazy, if you start to look at the internet, phone, tablets, you're seeing that everyone is getting one within the span of just a couple of years. So that's one of the things we really see at Google is how fast. It's not just that the world is changing, it's that it's changing faster and faster. And something that's kind of creepy, but I realized today is the slowest day we're ever going to see in terms of change. So every day from now on, it's going to happen faster and faster. And we can see it here in the data. Just backing it up, outsourced, 31% of Malaysians access the internet only via their smartphone. So this is an interesting kind of Asia, and particularly Southeast Asia phenomenon. When I go back to California, where I'm from, and back to Google's headquarters, that people talk about things being mobile first. What we're seeing in Malaysia, it's pretty much almost, mobile only. 30% of your customers are only looking at the internet through their mobile phone. Another really interesting trend we're seeing about the way people buy is that they use multiple screens before they make a decision. I can give you an example. When I was planning for this trip, we all run around so crazy and we get busy, right? So I got up in the morning and I looked a little bit at home on my laptop for the airline ticket. Then I was taking the MRT into work in Singapore, and I had a little more time on my mobile phone. And then at lunch, I looked again on my laptop, and then I actually bought my plane ticket that night in bed on my tablet, right? And this is the kind of thing my wife's like, what are you doing? But that's how we live, right? Our lives are so busy, and your customers are kind of making this journey across all of these different devices. So which device mattered? I don't think which device made me buy the plane ticket, which ad. I think the important thing is to just understand that your customers are moving across these devices. And the great thing about the platforms that are out there today, so Google can actually help you follow your customer across all of these different devices so that you're in the right place at the right time. Another really important trend we see is that after people search, they take action. So you can see that 63% of mobile search triggers actions that occur, this is back to what Timothy was saying about speed, within 1 hour of the search. And 55% of the purchase-related conversions occur within that hour. So not only are lots and lots of people searching, and not only are they searching across all these devices, but people are fast. They're taking action. So after they search on Google, within an hour, people are making a purchase decision. And this really goes to how fast everything's happening and how you got to make sure you're in the right place and you're ready at that moment because customers are ready to buy. And then some specific data that we pulled from Malaysia was amazing. 70% of Malaysians say the internet is the first place they look for information. So if you look at clothing and footwear, 76% before they buy clothing and footwear. Those seems like things you go try on, and people do, but they search as part of that. Hair products, 66%. Makeup, 82% of people search, before they buy makeup. And these numbers sound crazy to me, but then I watch myself doing it. So if you think about your own behavior and you pay attention, this is what your customers are doing. So again, people really, as part of the way they buy things today, they search. And then you got these moments, right, in life. This is, again, this is why I wanted to start with that video I showed you. These moments where you're like, oh, God, the dishwasher's broken, right? These are one of these kind of good, bad problems to have, right? Great to have a dishwasher, but now we're in trouble. What do you think people do at this moment? This is what's new. They reach for their phone, right? At dishwasher repair, right? This is what they're going to need. They're going to get a phone number. They're going to call someone. They're going to make a decision. And someone's going to kind of win the business to come fix this dishwasher. So this is the moment. And we refer to this at Google. This is very fresh. This is really what we're seeing kind of around the world. But there are these key moments that are taking place. So we've got I want to know moments, where 65% of consumers now look up more information online versus a year ago. 66% of smartphone users turn to their phones to look up for something they saw on a TV commercial. I want to go moments, doubling the number of near-me search interest in the past year. What that means, that's actually, we see when people search on their phones, 30% of those searches, someone's looking for something close to them. What a terrific opportunity for local business, right? So again, I think people think about the internet's often just for large businesses, but again, 30% of the searches on phones in Malaysia, people's looking for a business near them. I want to do moments. 91% of smartphone users turn to their phones for ideas, when they're trying to think of, hey, what do you want to do? And then I think most importantly to this group is we talk about these I want to buy moments. So what we're seeing at Google is kind of throughout people's day, when they have a specific need, they want to go somewhere, they want to do something, they want to buy something, they're reaching for their phone and they're searching. And so it's not just, I mean, I think you can see that, you know, when we have downtime, it's terrific to kind of browse and see what your friends are doing or other things. But when people have a need, they search. And I think that's a great opportunity for all the businesses in this room. And I mean, the real reason that I'm glad you're here, I know why I am here, and you know, I think why we do this with PanPages and why Google and PanPages work together. We know that in Malaysia, over the next 3 years, businesses that get this and are online are growing 40% faster than businesses who don't. And I think that's where this all kind of really comes back to our lives and connects, because businesses that are growing faster, they make more money, they're more competitive, their customers are happy, and they create more jobs. And those jobs, I think, are those are the things that let us, you know, spend more time with our families, have more, you know, better health care, better education, you know, hopefully nicer things in our home, a vacation at the end of the year. So again, this is kind of what gets me up in the morning, but this is really the opportunity. And one of the trends that we see in Malaysia that concerns me is the consumers are racing out ahead, right? Malaysian consumers are there. Everybody has their smartphone. They've got their tablets. You know, they're watching YouTube. They're searching. But we see businesses falling behind. And I think, you know, one of the things we see is the number of businesses in Malaysia that are not ready. They don't have websites. They don't understand advertising. They're not getting help. And that gap between business and consumers, again, that's what we're doing here and trying to address. But again, when you look at that number of how much faster businesses are growing that have gone digital, and you know how critical it is to be competitive, it's really important that as a group we address the gap. So how do we do this? All right, 4 things everyone in this room should know, right? It's really important to go online and have a website for your business so people can find you. You want to be easily found when people search for you on Google. You want to make sure that however you're doing it, whoever you're working with, that you're thinking, what does this look like on a mobile phone? Because that's how your customers are looking for you. And last, I mean, I think the way I know I always was when I ran my business, you want to start small, you want to see results, and then expand if it's successful. And that's been part of Google's secret. Our partnership with small business has always been we've allowed people to kind of start where they're comfortable, show people the results, and then grow. And then I can't recommend enough kind of getting help from a partner, right? Because we all have a lot to do and we all have different areas of our day, but focusing on our core business and getting help from a partner. The ideas behind this are pretty simple, but kind of getting it right can be complex. So before I jump to that, I want to talk about getting help from a partner and specifically about how you can work with PanPages. What I'd recommend for doing this is have a conversation with PanPages today. And don't talk to them about, I don't want to hear them talk about clicks, impressions, click-through rate. None of that means anything unless, you know, I guess if you're in a large marketing department or something. But none of those things really matter to your business, right? The things that matter to your business is have a conversation with PanPages about, you know, hey, I need more phone calls, okay? And in fact, I need more appointments on Thursdays and Saturdays. That's when I've got spare capacity. And that's when I'd like more phone calls. Can you help me get them on the times that I need? Foot traffic. I need more people to walk into my business. We can do that, right? We can work with Google Maps. We can use AdWords. We can measure and drive foot traffic to your business. I need more visitors to my website. When they come to my website, I need them to fill out forms. And in fact, I need to get 30 more lead forms a week. Can you help me do that? Have that conversation with PanPages. That's the meaningful conversation that you want to be having, is what is it that your business actually needs? And then how can Google AdWords help you deliver it? And that's why, again, I'm recommending that you work with an expert, because that lets you focus on your business. And when you have that conversation, you tell them what you need. PanPages is a Google Premier SMB partner. And I'll tell you real quick what that means. It means that PanPages has made a significant investment in training and knowledge and really understanding our products. Google is an engineering and product company at the end of the day. We build products that we work very, very well for people, but in terms of understanding our customers' needs, we depend on our partners. And our premier SMB partners like PanPages have invested in understanding our products. We've invested in them with training and making sure that they have the support they need so that they can support you. The second piece is transparency. Our PSP, our premier SMB partners like PanPages have made a commitment to share with you what you've spent with them, how much of that went to Google, and what were the results that you got. And we work very closely with a trusted group of premier SMB partners to make sure that happens. And that makes sure that you understand the results you're getting, and you work directly with PanPages and Google standing behind them. And last, and I kind of think most importantly, PanPages has a terrific track record of success, of connecting medium and small businesses. In fact, in all fairness, business of all sizes to Google. And that track record of success is the most important thing, what we look for in our premier SMB partners, because it means they can get results. So I encourage you to test them out, give them a run, let them know your business objectives, and from my experience with them, they're going to deliver, and make sure they show you how you get those results. Thank you very much. I think we used our time well today. It's nice to be here in KL, and look forward to doing it again next year. If it's okay with you, I'll leave you with a quick video. This is one of our customers in Vietnam, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you very much.
Ở Việt Nam thì cái món cá kho nó là một cái món rất là phổ thông, nhưng mà cái món cá kho làm củ đài này nó hoàn toàn là khác biệt, hoàn toàn cái nghề này của người dân ở đây. Ghi lại xưa kể lại là chính là cái món của nhân dân tiến lên nhà vua đời Trần khoảng chừng 600-700 năm rồi. Tôi là Nguyễn Bá Toàn, tôi là khơi dậy cái niềm tự hào của họ để họ cống hiến ngày càng tất cả các người dân tại Việt Nam được thưởng thức món cá kho này, làm sao để tiếp cận được đến với khách hàng. Chúng tôi đã phải trả giá rất là nhiều, phải trải qua rất nhiều những cái thất bại như cái chi phí. Tôi đã quảng cáo trên báo giấy, tôi vẫn lỗ, tờ rơi để phát, ta chẳng thèm đọc, người ta vứt đi luôn. Cổ ngày xưa rất là chán, và biết được đến cái dịch vụ quảng cáo của Google, đó là cái Google Adwords.
I've never seen this kind of business online. Braised fish is such a familiar dish to me. My mom cooked that at home in Vietnam. My name is Uyên. I am part of the SME service team at Google.
Chào Uyên.
Chào anh, rất vui gặp anh. At first, when Mr. Tuan contacted me, he has a question about how to use the keywords to drive people to his website. So I told him that there's 3 or 5 keywords that you really want to own, so that whenever someone search for braised fish, you will be on top. With AdWords, you don't really need to invest too much. You just need to invest very smart.
Cái công việc kinh doanh của tôi kể từ khi mà tôi sử dụng dịch vụ Google là nó thay đổi hoàn toàn. Đó là quá là tuyệt vời.
After he invested in Google Display Network as well, he just kept expanding. He said to me, "Wow, I can't even handle the expansion anymore. This is too quick."
Điều mà quan trọng là tôi thấy rằng nó cải thiện lên cái chất lượng quảng cáo của tôi rất là nhiều. Rất là cảm ơn bạn Uyên đã tư vấn cho tôi rất là nhiệt tình trong cái thời gian vừa qua. Tôi ước mơ rằng là một ngày nào đó mà trong tất cả các gia đình của Việt Nam thưởng thức có món cá rất là tuyệt vời như thế này. Khi mà cái công việc kinh doanh của tôi phát triển và ngày càng phát triển, tạo việc làm cho người nuôi cá này, chở gỗ thuê cho tôi này, cái hộ mà sản xuất nhiêu đất này, tất cả chúng ta đều có phần ở trong món đó. Ngôi làng này, truyền thống này.
How about that? Once again, let's give Matthew Haller from Google a big warm round of applause.